It's a tough time being a truck driver. I ain't gonna lie to you. I just heard some news. A trucking company called LTI Services just completely shut down. 250 trucks, about 300 trailers, just completely shut down out of nowhere. Now, obviously, 250 drivers are going to be out of a job. They need to scramble to look for a job. But here's the thing is, when I was looking at it, reading the article, I was telling myself, why didn't they downsize, right? Why just completely shut down? Obviously, we understand they're losing money, but there are other alternatives where you don't need to shut down. You just downsize. Instead of having 250 trucks, maybe have 50 trucks. It's manageable. But to completely shut down operations, obviously we only know from the outside, me reading the article, but man, 250 drivers out of nowhere got a message saying the company's shutting down completely. They're gonna get them home some way, somehow. But obviously, easier said than done. If these drivers are, God knows where they're at, trying to get them back. It's unfortunate, sad situation. It's a tough time to be a semi-truck driver right now, man. God bless each and every one of you, man.
Truck drivers at the stop in Jessup Friday shared mixed reaction.
It's got worse over the last, real worse over the last few months.
Hopefully the fuel price can stay down a little bit.
Right now we are looking at some change. Something is changing. Maybe will be good for us drivers.
Arani says if the volume of cargo at the Port of Baltimore does go down, it would mean less of a need for short and long haul truck drivers. And at the same time, it could cost more just to maintain their actual trucks.
There's a possibility that part might be manufactured overseas and then imported into the U.S. and then applied to the truck. So it may be more costly to run those diesel trucks.
The entire supply chain will feel the impact. Truck driver of more than 50 years, Hewler Dixon says it's already being felt.
You can't afford to buy nothing for the truck. Tires $400, $500. All is sky high.
In Howard County,
I don't have no load right now.
Trucking in the United States is getting ready to suffer.
Speak English or get out. That's pretty much what the new law says about truck drivers.
You know a trucker? Because they might not have a job much longer. Driverless trucks just started operating in Texas.
Because of President Trump's tariffs, with hard-hit truckers taking another blow. Layoffs are beginning in the trucking industry as American ports are seeing a big drop in cargo ship arrivals, meaning less to haul across our country.
Next to a bunch of truck chassis because they're parked and they're not in use. And look on the other side there. They're stacked up, and in this truck yard alone, there are about 100 chassis stacked up because they don't need them. They're typically out on the roadways. Like everyone else along America's massive supply chain, truckers expect things to go from bad to worse.
This yard costs us money, this equipment costs us money, our chassis costs us money, our employees cost us money, electricity costs us money, right? So after 6 months, I would say we would be in pretty dire situations. And that's just us. And there's hundreds of companies like us who would probably be in this, most likely be in the same situation, if not worse.
What's going on, drivers? So, with all these cheap ass loads on the board, how are you covering them? I mean, how are you actually hauling them and making a profit on it? Because I don't see it. I mean, at $2.50 a mile, and with your insurance, wear and tear, your maintenance, fuel, there's no money to be made. Let that shit sit there. It ain't gonna move. Let them come up on their rates. I don't care if it's the broker or the broker saying it's the customer that it's the cheap shit, but the only way that you're gonna change it is to let it sit there. Stop hauling this cheap ass shit. Let it sit there. Adios.
Guys, things are a lot worse than I actually thought it was. I just got finished looking at about 6 TikToks, and not just TikTok videos, but videos on other social media platforms about a lot of the American truck drivers. As far as like the semi-truck drivers who do the over-road driving, transporting goods from the ports to our local stores. A lot of the truck drivers are really hurt right now. I watched at least 3 videos where the truck drivers are saying just in this short amount of time with the tariffs going on that they have to actually sell their entire truck. A lot of those people pay at least $255,000 for the semi. So for those of you who don't know what those trucks cost, they cost around 200 and something thousand. One guy said the best offer that he got on the semi truck was $140,000, and the semi truck is actually a 2020, a 2020. That's just shy of 5 years old. So it's real out here when the truck drivers start speaking out about what's going on with them. They're experiencing a huge shortage where it comes to them being contractors, being contracted out to ship stuff for this company and ship stuff for that company. A lot of those guys that's even saying that selling their trucks, they're applying for local jobs where they can drive for a company. And they said a lot of those companies that ships products are actually laying their employees off. Or some of them are even cutting their employees' hours. So it's definitely real. Just seeing the videos like that just let me know just how serious things are, because these are people making videos that lives are really 100% being impacted by the tariffs. We would have never thought in a million years that putting tariffs on China and putting tariffs on these other countries would affect the United States so fast. I would have never thought that the impact would be so fast. The store shelves, a lot of the store shelves really are running empty right now. A lot of people are still using their overstocked products that they ordered from these companies, meaning that shipments are still coming in because they were ordered before the tariffs were implemented. And so they have to honor what's been implemented, basically like a contract type deal. So things are more serious than I thought it was, man. And like, if this is like only the second day of May 2025, I mean, I hate to see what the second and third week of May is going to look like. And we are just in the second day of May, and we're already seeing a humongous catastrophic breakdown of people already talking about losing their jobs when it comes to trucking and transporting food from one state to the next state. The ports are just really, it's bad. What's going on at the ports right now, it's bad. And you know what's really worse? A lot of those jobs are actually union jobs, and the union can't really do anything about that. They can't really override the president of the United States. So I wanted to just bring you guys that, man. That's really some heartbreaking, sad news, man. Thank you guys for watching.
The trucking industry is about to have an FAFO moment.
What are the consequences of the fact that there's no shipping, no ships coming in to the biggest port on the West Coast, the port in LA?
If you think trucking is bad now, it's going to get a lot worse.
Looks like another casualty of the trucking market. A pretty big trucking company out of Texas files Chapter 11 to restructure their debt.
Americans voted for Trump. You're finally getting the recession that you voted for. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for you to all get exactly what you voted for.
Trucking has completely went flat bottom, man. I can honestly tell you these past 3 weeks, this is including the third week that I'm in right now, you get a few runs here and there. I'm in Chicago, right? And it's getting bad. You know, I don't know, what do you tell your drivers, right? You just give them the whole concept of be patient. Obviously, watching the news. I'm not only a truck driver. I own trucks. I got drivers, man, you know? I don't know what else to say or do. Obviously, Trump is doing what he needs to do, right? On paper, it looks good. It looks right. But we're going to have to try to weather the tide, you know what I'm saying? But, man, I mean, it's getting bad, right? And I know a lot of people in other businesses that are complaining too, right? Everybody's watching the news, waiting for this whole situation to die down with this whole tariff thing back and forth. And I don't see no end in sight. I know some of my guys that are owner-operators, a lot of them gave up not having a plan in place after they quit. And they just saying, hey, I'm going to wing it. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But, man, me personally, my advice to anybody, it doesn't matter if you're a truck driver now. Whatever you're doing for a living and you don't want to do that no more, find you another source of income before you quit. Never quit until you have another option, right? You're going to quit and just sit there and wait. What are you going to do? My advice, man, do not quit something until you have something in line, ready to go.
90% of the truck drivers voted for Trump. Now they go to the ports and the piers and look for a load to carry, and they find out that half the fucking ships are empty and the other half are being diverted by China to other places. The only fucking thing you'll be hauling is Trump the fuck out of the White House back to Mar-a-Lago.
Do you know a trucker? Because they might not have a job much longer. Driverless trucks just started operating in Texas with no one behind the wheel. Aurora, a self-driving tech company, just launched full commercial service. They're moving real freight between Dallas and Houston for Uber Freight and Hirschbach motor lines. No safety driver, no backup, just AI in control of 80,000 pounds of cargo. And here's why this matters. Trucking is the most common job in over half the states in America. Roughly 3.5 million people make their living driving trucks. But Aurora trucks, they don't call in sick, they don't need brakes, and they don't form unions. And here's the part that's going to push companies to adopt this even faster. These trucks can run 24/7. No hours of service rules, no required rest stops. They don't get tired. That means you don't need as many trucks, and you definitely don't need as many drivers. For companies that are chasing profit, that's a dream. And for workers, it's a disaster. And this isn't decades away. This is not a theory. This is happening right now. It's scaling fast with no national conversation, no job protections, and no real plans for what comes next. Because when machines can work around the clock without complaint, the pressure is not just on truckers, it's coming for every job that can be automated.
It's time to speak up. Have you heard the phrase tariff trucking apocalypse yet? Because it's not just a dramatic headline, it's happening right now. Container imports to the United States just dropped 64% in a single month. You heard that right. And this time it's not from a global pandemic. It's policy induced. New tariffs, especially on goods that come from China, have created shockwaves. Importers are pulling back cargo ships. They're just not coming. They're not coming to land in our ports. And port traffic is slowing to a crawl. Guess who suffers? Port workers with fewer shifts, truckers with no containers to haul, warehouse employees who are having shifts cut, rail freight workers who have nothing to load, and small business drivers who are drowning in the debt from rigs they can't keep busy. During COVID, we saw reduced numbers of cargo ships coming to our ports. But in April of this year, we had more ships abandon our ports than we did at the height of COVID. And what's worse, this time, the pain to the American economy, it's deliberate. We're bleeding jobs and calling it patriotism. And while politicians brag on being tough about countries who are unfair to us in trade, Americans are the ones paying the price. At the pump, at the grocery store, and with the pink slips. And if you care about working class families, truckers, food prices, you need to care about tariffs, because the shipping slowdown isn't just global, it's local, and it's already here. Go love your neighbor.